Now then, how's everyone doing? Good to see you. Michael was first in the comments. Well done, man. Really early today. How early? You're 15 minutes early. That is dedication. Hi, Mum. Good to see you. Casper. Maggie. Craig. Hi, Amy. Dean, how's it going, man? Has everyone had a good day so far? Let's see it in the comments. We've got Joe backstage in the green room, drinking his bud. The good old days where you play a show for 0 money and get 4 beers between 5 of you in the band. Hi Adele, how are you doing? Good to see you. Kieran, how you doing? What's everyone been up to today? You had a good day so far? Learn some Billie Eilish. Nice. Yeah, I've definitely learned some Billie Eilish. What song did you learn? I'm really looking forward to tonight. I'm just looking forward to catching up with my mate. I ain't seen Joe for so long. Even aside from this whole quarantine thing or whatever it is, the weird times we're living in now. You know, I've not really properly caught up with him for a while, so it's going to be a good one. So I'm going to play a City of Lights song. I'm going to try and play it a slightly different way. This song is called Atlas Stark. We love Joe. Yeah, man. And if your heart's in the right place, then your time is now. People say we can do all kinds of things, but if your life's gone the wrong way, it's time to turn it around. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, don't you think? Nothing in this life will come free. You get out what you put in. Something's got to give. Do you remember when you were young? Did you think that you'd be something more? 'Cause I know that I did. We are so strong. We are still holding on. You remember when you were young? Did you think that you'd be something more? 'Cause you know that I did. We are so strong. And if your mind's in a dark place and you're searching for lights, get up, get out, never give it up. You know that you can trust in us. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, don't you think? Nothing in this life will come free. You get out what you put in. Something's got to give. Do you remember when you were young? Did you think that you'd be something more? 'Cause I know that I did. We are so strong. We are still holding on. You remember when you were young? Did you think that you'd be something more? 'Cause I know that I did. Did you think that you'd be something more? 'Cause I know that I did. We are so strong. We are still holding on. You remember when you were young? Did you think that you'd be something more? 'Cause I know that I did. We are so strong. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. That song's called Atlas Stark, and it was a City of Lights song. You can find it on YouTube, but it's not like that. Awesome. There's a few people in. How you doing, Casper, man? Good to see you. Steve, how you doing, mate? Michael, good to see you, man. Thank you very much, Steve, mate. I appreciate that. Cheers, Dean. Good to see you, Imi. Nice. On time. Love it. I think I'm just going to jump right into it. Are you ready, Joe? I think he's ready. He's ready. He's born ready. Right. Here we go. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Cheers for doing this, man. It's so good to see you.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Good to see you too. You've got a nice little following going, haven't you?
Yeah, man. There's a few people in. They're all saying hello, and they're always here to champion new music. So if you've never heard you before, then
Liz Dunwell's in.
Oh yes, man. She's here.
Hi,
she's my number one fan.
How are you doing? I'm just gonna have a conversation with Liz.
Oh dear. So yeah, how's quarantine? Is it called quarantine? What's it called?
I don't know. Isolation, social distancing, quarantine, COVID, coronavirus, all that.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love being at home.
Me too. Thank God you said that.
Go work.
Like, honestly.
You know, I know it's hard for a lot of people, but yeah. I am really coping really well.
I think that's good. I think obviously there are, there are instances where it's really bad and really hard for a lot of people out there. But what I would say is, you're adapting to the situation the best you possibly can, and I think actually jumping right into it is you're like putting your skills, because you're coping so well with it, you're putting all your skills to good use and putting like really happy good content out for people to sort of distract them. So I think give yourself a pat on the back for that as well, man. Obviously.
Thanks, man. What are you talking about, the YouTube stuff? I
am, mate. Yeah, because it's honestly, like I was championing you earlier on, and I don't mean to blow smoke up your ass or anything, mate, because it does entertain me. I was watching it and it's so good. And
thanks, man.
You weren't doing it before lockdown, were you? It was just literally.
I just started it. April 10th was when I put my first video up. I didn't have the time to do it before lockdown, and it's not like I don't have the time to the thing about YouTube is it's getting started, as I'm sure you're aware. It's like that's where the getting yourself a logo sorted, figuring out the camera, figuring out the editing software and all that stuff. That's the time that I didn't have to put in. So now it's up. Hopefully I can just continue to do it even when things return to normal.
Absolutely. So how consistently are you doing it at the moment? Are you
at the moment I'm trying to put one out a week, yeah, but I had like 4 videos ready to go when I first like started the YouTube. Yeah. So I thought, right, I've got a 4-week cushion. That's perfectly good.
That's long gone now.
And then in a very Joe way, I basically realized last week, fuck, I've run out of 4 videos. I need to start actually making some now.
Exactly the same thing happened with me. I was like, I'm booked 5 weeks in advance for this show. I'm absolutely fine. And then I was like, oh crap, it's like 5th week now, and I'm now chasing my tail, booking up again. I'm getting there with it, but yeah, that just screams me and you all over. Definitely, that's the way we've always been. Because also another thing you did as well, you did a charity gaming marathon thing, didn't you? You played a game from start to finish.
Yeah, that's right.
Raising money for the NHS. That was sick.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that it was this really well thought out thing that we were going to do, but I literally I text Chris Moran the day before it happened, and I was like, I've decided I'm gonna play Resident Evil all the way through tomorrow on my YouTube. And he was like, that'll be fun, but I'm not gonna watch it because I ain't got the game, I ain't played it yet. I was like, why don't you download it and we'll play it together?
That's well good.
On the stream. And he was like, yeah, that could be cool, let's do it for a charity. And I was like, right, yeah. So it just sort of, yeah. And the charity idea was totally Chris's thing. It wasn't mine, but we ended up raising like something like £815 or something in total. That's just like 2
Did you complete the game?
Dudes. Yeah, we completed it. He completed it before I did because he's fucking way better at video games than me. But it was like, I think it took us about 7 hours or something. And it's good that you can raise that sort of money sitting and playing a game. I just couldn't believe it. I honestly, I said to Chris, sorry, I've drank like 3 beers, so I keep burping.
You drank everyone's rider? What?
Yeah, I've drank everyone's rider, man. I'm sorry guys.
Don't change your habit of a lifetime, mate.
What was I even saying? What was
you
I
saying
saying
about it's amazing how you were able to raise that kind of fund, those kind of funds, just based on an online presence sort of thing.
It's crazy just that people will tune in and watch that shit, because I said to Chris the night before, like, I'm genuinely a bit nervous about doing this because we'll look stupid if we go on there and raise like nothing or like £10 or something.
But I do, going back to what I said before, like, just quickly, we'll touch on this a little more and then we'll move on to some music, because obviously it is all about the music. But I think when you were saying like you're doing okay in the whole lockdown situation, regardless of raising money for charity, which is an absolutely incredible thing, and well done for doing that to both you and Chris, but like, I don't think you realise how much of a distraction that is for people as well, in a good way. So like, despite that having such a big effect on raising money as well, it's having a huge effect on people's lifestyle at the moment, because it's such freaking weird times that we're living in. So
it's so
if
weird.
that can distract people for, well, how long did it take you? 7 hours? I'm not. Did anyone watch it for all the way through?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure if you can check. I've not. Again, in my laziness, I've not dove deep into the analytics side of YouTube yet. So.
But despite that, I think it's absolutely incredible, mate. And
thanks,
credit
man.
Where credit's due. That's really good work. So yeah, I'm chuffed for you, man. Music. How's that going? Are you writing during isolation? Are you
sort of it?
Have you still got a band? Do you communicate with the band and stuff? Or?
Yeah. So we've so I'm in the band Beauty School, which obviously this is for the people in the chat.
Yeah.
And like last year we started the band last year properly, really, and we put out 5 tracks. We put out an EP, but we decided to do it like staggered, like a track every month or 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we decided we were going to do another EP, and then first it was we were going to do 4 tracks, then we were going to do I think 5 tracks, then we decided we were going to do a 7-track EP, and now we decided we're going to do an album. So it was just like, it just sort of grew and grew, and we just realized that we'd spent a lot of time figuring out these new songs and stuff, and not put anything out. So we dropped a single in December, and then since then, all this the plan was to drop that, keep busy with a few shows and stuff this year, and just have that ticking over whilst we write the record. And then all this stuff's happened, and we've just not really been able to. It's kind of like really slowed us down, because we're not one of these bands that does very well in terms of sending music to each other and writing stuff. It's like we kind of need to be in the studio together.
Yeah. And do you do that in the rehearsal space, or in do you like have a writing like strategy? Do you do it like we used to do it, where you would play over each other as loud as possible, or do you take ideas, or do you have like a computer that you sit at, and is there
I think it's definitely more. It's not like we used to do it in Goodbye for Now, put it that way. Like,
just listen to my riff.
Right?
My riff's louder.
The guitarist Dan,
is
just an unbelievable musician, but he is like he's like I don't know if this is the right term, but he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, you would not know it from his actions and his mannerisms and stuff like that. Like, all the guy does is fucking sit in his attic and play World of Warcraft all day. But when he picks up the guitar, he's an absolute monster. Like, he writes just amazing tunes. And do you know what else? He's like a brilliant lyricist and singer as well. So, like, my area is like writing the lyrics and melodies, but Dan also, like, if I say to Dan, let's do this one together, he'll chip in and he'll write something, and I'll listen to it. I'll be like, fuck, that is fucking 10 times. Sorry, I'm swearing a bunch, but he's
that's
like,
all right. You be yourself, mate.
That is 10 times better than the thing that I come up with sometimes. You know what I mean? But I kind of pick his stuff apart and sort of put it into myself. And we've got this really good musical relationship, I think, between me and Dan, where he really, like, he's a phenomenal musician, but he doesn't, I don't think he realizes it in a way. And then I just sort of pick all the bits that I like and get all rid of the bits that I don't like. Yeah. But we've got a great musical relationship, but like personal relationship, we really don't get along.
That's the best way to be in a band, definitely. I've always thought you were really good at writing lyrics, and you always had a real like ear for melody and like taking a song to a different place that I would never have really thought of. I'm quite safe, really, but you always kind of push the boundaries, from what I remember anyways, especially like back in the day kind of thing. And I think you've really crafted that massively when you started working with Call's Landing, and then you've like taken that over to your other projects and stuff. So yeah, man, I think to have that another member to bounce off of as well, and have your ability, where it is as well. I think you're onto a winning formula there, aren't you, really?
Well, do you know what it is? It's like it is a rare thing that I think that to find someone that you can work with that you do bounce off of in that way. And genuinely, like, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass now, but the last that was something that was something that we had when we were younger.
Man, definitely, yeah.
And God knows where it would have gone, or what we'd have sounded like now, or if it would have kept up. But certainly at the time, like, I just found it so easy to write songs with you. And then after that, I never really had that same thing again until Dan.
I remember, actually, if I remember rightly, there's a song on the City of Lights album, and I think it's the first one. What the hell? A song called Hope. It's a really chilled, melancholy kind of song, and I was stuck for a line, and we were sat in a bar in Farsley. I think it was the Old Ball or something like that. It was one of those on the stretch, anyways. And I just said to you, I've got this song, and I've got this far, and I sang it to you, or I, spoke it to you or whatever, and then you actually wrote the next line to the song, and it was used in the song. I don't know if you remember it.
I don't remember that.
It was. I'll have to send you it. I can't even that's one of the songs that City of Lights never really played because it was so melancholy and so chilled. But nonetheless, how quickly like you were able to come up with another line at that something. It was like being stuck on a boss of a level, and then you just taking the. I nearly said remote.
But that's it.
That's how much of a gamer I am. Give me the remote.
That's it, though. I think that's where I work best. Genuinely, like, it almost sounds like a bit of a cop out, but I really do like to take other people's ideas and turn them into my own thing. Like,
I might have to pick your brain on a few songs that I've got going on at the minute.
When Dan writes, like when Dan, because Dan writes all the guitars as well, and like they're fucking unreal. But he can't record them. He's not like, you know, he's not got Logic or anything. Doesn't use any of that stuff. So he just records them on his phone and sends me them.
Yeah.
And so I've got this like mushy, muddy, like 3-minute piece of music where he's flying all over guitar, like because he plays a lot like like Mike Kinsella style American football.
Oh yeah.
Like riffs where he's flying about. It's all real twiddly, and I'm trying to. I've got that in front of me, and I'm trying to figure out where the verse is, where the chorus is, and like like the beat of it. But when he sends me one and he's sung a little few lines in it, then I like instantly like, right, this is how this song's going to sound. This is, you know what I mean? And then you build on it in that way.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you, do you want to jump into a song? I feel like we've done a lot of talking, which is great because I'm having a great time catching up with you. But
yeah, let's do it.
I think people are itching for a song.
Oh, that here he is. Dan's kicking off in
Mushy Muddy.
Dan's kicking off in chat already.
Mushy Muddy, what? He meant really high quality, high production.
Yeah. Right. Just a little disclaimer before I start this, since now I know that Dan is in the thing. Like, these songs are getting the ultimate butchering. Okay, I'll give you
could
the
have
little,
at least played one, and then I suppose you're giving a disclaimer. Right? Yeah.
I'll give you the backstory. I said to Dan that I was doing this thing, and I was like, "Can you send me over like stripped back acoustic versions of these 3 tracks?" And he was like, yeah, sure, man, no worries. So he puts his camera in front of his guitar and starts fucking jamming away. Sends me the videos, and I look at him, and I just couldn't be asked with further interaction. But I was like, he does not realize what I meant by stripped back. Like,
you just wanted E,
way too complex for me.
D.
Yeah. So what I've done, Dan, is I've taken those ones that you sent me, and I've just ripped them to bits and just made them all 4 chords essentially. So
nice.
Yeah, so this is a rendition of the track Evergreen, which we put out last year, and the real and good version is on the Spotify. So yeah, you want to check that one out.
Nice one.
All right, are we good to go?
Yeah, man, you just take it away and do your thing. Have a good one.
Yeah. There's a place beyond the fracture and it's evergreen. There's a place beyond that still, it's almost suicide. I got a heart full of dreams, but I gave them all to you. Now the storm is rolling over me, it's raining bad news. You know your parents hope you don't end up with him. He's been selling drugs since we were only kids. No, I'm not the kind of guy you have in mind, but I'm the one who picks you back up every time. Take it back to the middle. This is the best part, she said. When I hear this song, the fog just empties out of my head. Built to spill, if I said that I would do it, then you know that I will. From the bedroom to the altar to the hospital. You know your parents hope you don't end up with me. I've been selling drugs since I was 17. I know I'm not the kind of guy you had in mind, but I'm the one who'll get you fucked up every night. You know your parents parents hope you don't end up with me. I've been selling drugs since I was 17. I know I'm not the kind of guy they had in mind, but I'm the one who gets you fucked up every night. You know your parents hope you don't end up with him. He's been selling drugs since we were only kids. I know I'm not the kind of guy you had in mind, but I'm the one who picks you back up every time. 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 I'll pick you back up every time.
Yeah. Nice work, man.
Does it sound alright?
Yeah, man. It's good. It's coming in a little hot, but I think it's good. I think we'll get.
Yeah, do you want me to pull that gain down a bit? Are we good?
Yeah, just a touch, maybe. Just
a smidge.
Just a smidgen. But yeah, man. Sounds cool.
Thanks, dude.
So,
all right.
So you don't often take a song to the guys from the acoustic yourself anymore these days, or
No.
you have to do it.
I don't. I just really don't play the guitar anymore. And the thing is, like, sorry,
that's all good.
If I try and write a song on acoustic guitar and then take it to the practice room, I feel like I'm being restrictive in the way that Dan writes his tunes, because a lot of the stuff he writes in different like open tunings and things like that.
Yeah.
And
God, that must be a pain in the ass live.
For
him, not for the audience, but guitar changes over the song, and he's great to be creative in that respect. But bloody hell,
it is, and the stuff he's writing is like really, really like it just flows really, really, really nicely. And I think if I try and get in the way of that, it just doesn't work out. So I kind of let him send me some stuff, and then we work on it from there. But like I say, we're hitting a bit of a blockade because he's sending stuff over, and then it's not really progressing because we can't get in the studio and do it, because that's where it goes. It's like he'll send me something, I might go around his, and we'll get Lee around the bassist, and we'll do like a little guitar bass vocal session, and then we'll take it into the studio and put lead guitar and and drums to it, and that's where the song sort of like evolve, if you know what I mean. But we can't do that right now.
Yeah, man. Well, soon, hopefully. I mean, I think, is it Thursday or sometime this week they're going to start talking about what the near future will hold for us. But I think the entertainment world is going to be the last thing, especially festivals and gigs and stuff are likely to be last. When it comes to going back into normality. But at least you'll be able to rehearse and release new music, hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah. So if there's any questions as well, guys, please get them in the comments and I'll relay them over. I've had one from Imi. She asked, could you ask Joe how he got into music?
Well, this is an interesting question to ask, actually, because how I got into music is I went to a primary school called St. Joseph's in Pudsey, and I met this little dorky kid there called Matt Dunwell. And
I was the coolest in school.
His family was like... So, right, okay, there's two things, basically. The first was that we had, in year 5, do you remember Andy McVeigh?
I do, yeah, man.
So year 5, we had this music teacher called Andy McVeigh. Well, Mr. McVeigh at the time. Yeah. And he was a drummer in a band, and he was a bit of a mod and stuff like that. And he like sort of opened my eyes to all this music. Back then I was listening to like, I don't know, Venga Boys and Spice Girls and stuff like that. Yeah, like we're talking, I was 9 years old. This is like year 5. And he opened my eyes to...
changed.
Yeah, exactly. He opened my eyes to the Beatles and... Oasis and things like that, and I remember getting like What's the Story, Morning Glory, that album, and just being like, couldn't believe that music like that existed. Yeah. And Matt, obviously we went to school together, primary and high, and you were already into music because of your older brothers, and I
Yeah.
think we formed a bond over that. And my
Yeah.
my family is like not musical at all, so I was never exposed to it. Like I was growing up, I was exposed to like Wham and Culture Club and stuff like that. But then I would go and hang out at Matt's house, and you know, like Joe would be playing guitar, Dave would be playing guitar, Steve would be doing whatever. Your dad would just sit there with the
Nylon string.
like and the music sheet
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
in front of him, like, and it was just like this sort of. When I look back at it, I think of it as kind of like an awakening. But at the time, I was just like, "Oh, this is cool. Like, let's get into that."
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think really, you and your family had a big part to play in me getting into music. And then certainly when we were in high school, it was kind of like Union Jackass and those bands like that made me want to play on stage. And Union Jackass, for anyone who doesn't know, is Ash's old band who plays in City of Lights. So yeah. So
that's mental. Thanks, man. I'll take that. But I remember because I could never really class myself as a musician back then, but like it was all I had in my house. You know, there's guitars in every room, that kind of thing. But I remember I always wanted to be a drummer. That's what I always wanted to do. And
I wanted to be a drummer first as well.
And I had this laundry basket type thing. It was like a red bin, and I tipped it over, and I had that as the kick drum, and the lid for that was my cymbal, and I absolutely smashed the crap out of it to the point where it's broken. And I was just like, I'm going to be a drummer. This is going to be my thing. And then obviously, drums just didn't really take off. So I obviously, much more accessible playing guitar in my house, kind of thing.
We were those kids that wanted to play drums but just never did. Like I was the same. And I remember like at Goodbye For Now practices when we would practice in that room above Jug and Barrel. And every time Chris went for a cig or a piss or whatever, we'd jump on the drum kit.
Yeah,
and there was that one day when I jumped on the kit and started fucking banging out the beat to Sugar We're Going Down, and I just he's kick pedaling straight through the kick drum.
I was like, you were on the kit, not me.
Yeah.
And you were like,
I mean, we were like 15 years old or something, so we couldn't just afford new fucking drum skins all the time.
You just duct tape it up to within an inch of its life and just pretend that it's all right. Yeah, man. Oh man. They were. I forgot about that room, man. I remember that so like vividly. Now you've said it. It was such a dump up there. Like
it was all right until Cookie and his band went in and threw all those flyers everywhere. You remember that?
It's because we were actually like we were proper on it. We were like had flyers and everything and trying to distribute our music ourselves, and we were like totally just trying our very best.
We had boxes of EPs, boxes of flyers, and then we stupidly decided that we were going to share our practice room with another band who absolutely
destroyed it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
By the by, it is what it is. It's because they were cooler than us. They were in a metal band, and we were still playing pop punk emo. They were like, we're into Stone Sour.
Yeah, and Trivium and that, and we wanted to be Charlie Thomas. Thomas in Fight Star or whatever. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Charlie Simpson.
Yeah. Whoa, Charlie Thomas is our drummer. I don't know why I just said that. It's those beers, isn't it, man? You shouldn't have given me such a swell rider.
I know. Well, it's the least I can do, mate. It's the absolute least I can do. That was a really cool answer, man, of how you started music. I'm sure my dad will be buzzing about that. He's had some form of influence on you pursuing music. I'm sure I saw another question. If I've missed your question, can you get it in the comments, in the more recent comments, because it's kind of lost forever now. But yeah, man, are you up for doing another song? And whilst I find some questions and stuff, and then we can sort of talk about Beauty School a bit more and what the future holds and what you guys have been up to and whatever else. But I think we've done a lot of talking, as I say. So let's do another tune, and then we'll catch up again. So if you've got any questions, please get them in the comments, and we'll relay them over to Joe. Also, if you're new here as well, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and it's eking its way there every single day, just ever so slightly. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Take it away, dude.
Cheers. All right, this one's Oak. Your eyes are glazed. You remember the face, but not the name. In your picture frame above your doorway, there was once an embrace. All the words came to play, now you can't speak the same. Who are you today? Now you're okay. Now I can step foot inside that house. It's not you, it's the ghost that haunts it now. You know my name if I called round. You shouted out, would you ask around? There was once an embrace. All the words came to play, still you can't speak the same. And who are you today? Now you okay. You were the perfect pair. You'd wake at 6 in the morning just to see light your hair like that. And who are you today? And now you okay. Now I can step foot inside that house. It's not you, it's the ghost that haunts it now. You know my name if I call around. Shout it out, or would you ask around? Would you ask around? Would you ask around? Now I can step foot inside that house. It's not you, it's the ghost that haunts it now. You know my name if I called round. You shouted out, or would you ask around? Then I can step foot inside that house. It's not you, it's the ghost of him that haunts me now. You know my face if I called round. Do you recognize me? Do you recognize me anymore? 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 Do you recognize me anymore?
Love that, mate. That sounded ace. Great. I really like these acoustic renditions, man. They sound really sick. They sound great.
They sound way better when Dan plays the guitar. Trust me. We've done some. This is why we wanted to do the session with you.
Well, yeah. Well, so, initially, we were going to try if it was safe to do it with you guys performing.
No,
together,
I mean the actual session at your studio.
Yeah. So you were booked in to come and do an assembly point session. Was that just you two doing it acoustically, or were you going to come as the lineup? I can't.
No, we were going to have. I think we were going to have me, Dan, and Jordan. So we Jordan's the other guitarist. He plays lead, and he's a really interesting guitar player. So we were going to do them with Dan on the acoustic, me doing vocal, and Jordan playing clean electric lead parts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to getting that sorted out when all this sort of comes back to some sort of form of normality.
Yeah, man.
But yeah. So we had a few questions in. Steve asked, where would you most like to gig, and who with?
Where would I most like to gig?
Yeah, so have you got like a bucket list venue, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the world, different parts of the world? I don't know. Interpret it how you like.
I think when I was younger, I always wanted to play the Cockpit one. That was the dream. First, it was play the Cockpit,
Yeah.
And we played the Cockpit on our like 4th show, didn't we, with Goodbye for Now? So
Yeah.
that was like the first tick off the bucket list. And then eventually Goodbye for Now played the Cockpit main room, and then rest in peace, Cockpit's shut down now. And I don't know, since then I've not really thought about it in terms of venues, but when me and Charlie, who's the drummer, he's the drummer in Beauty School, but he was also the drummer of he was the drummer of Cause Landing. When we started Cause Landing, we were always like, one day we want to play in Tokyo, and to commemorate it, we're going to buy some pink Nikes when we do get there. So that's definitely still something that looms large in my brain one day. But the thing is, when you're younger, like when Cause Landing started, we, you know, we were all at university, and you know, it was still like the band is the be all and end all and things.
Yeah.
But now that I'm 30 years old, it's like the band is simply something that is an outlet for creativity, and it will go wherever it takes me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not something that I actively think this is where all my focus is going.
Being in a band, I feel it can become all consuming, whatever the words are. And it literally takes over your life to point of like friendships, relationships, everything. And I think when you get a little older, you learn to find a bit of a balance between your love for wanting to play music and also a real life, if you like, because it can be part of, you know, part of real life as well in like a healthy way. But sometimes it can become so like absorbing, it literally takes over everything. So
well, that's it.
If you found that place, then that's really cool, man.
I think the problem with music, but which is also like a beautiful part of it for the minority that do make it like all the way. The problem that you have with music is that it doesn't walk hand in hand with like life stability. Do you know what I mean? You can't be out like touring all the time and earning money. It's fine if you're on the road earning £50 a night because you're out there and you don't need to spend any money because you might get like a hospitality rider before the show and you might have like £50 to put petrol in to get to the next venue. But then once that 2 weeks is done and you get home, that's 2 weeks of your life gone. Yeah. And suddenly, you know what I mean?
Responsibility is still a stay at home kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're just not getting any money, and it's like that is a balance that you can only. I mean, that is a thing that you can only pursue for so long, in my opinion. Anyway, and I just got to the point where it's like, you know, I want to get married, I want to have a house, I want to do all these things. Like,
so, but I think kind of going back to the bucket list venue question. You must have already ticked off a few, like the fact that you've played like Leeds and Reading and, you know, headlined various shows all over the UK and whatever else, or even supported some of your favourite acts and toured around with some of your favourite bands that you grew up with. You know, I think it don't want to go unnoticed, does it, really?
No, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky in a sense that some of some of my favourite bands are not like, you know, obviously you've got your Oasis and the Killers and these big bands and stuff, but they're not my favourite bands. My favourite bands are kind of like the DIY smaller bands. So I have had the opportunity to play with some of my favourite bands, like, you know, because a lot of them play in like 500-600 cap venues and things like that. And and we were very lucky in Cause Landing to get some of those opportunities, and you know, a lot of that's down to the people that support me as a musician and the people that I work with as well, you know, like with Slam Dunk and things like that.
Sweet. I mean, it's cool. I mean, Amy's just asked. She said, was that with Paige with the Cockpit? That was the small room at the Cockpit that we supported Paige.
Yeah, it was.
We played the main room with Fightstar.
We did, yeah.
And Fair Komodo.
We also played Rio's with Paige. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, we did. And
Yeah, we played
didn't we play?
Riverside
Was
Village.
was it Goodbye for Now that played with Go Audio as well?
Yeah, we did play with Go Audio. Yeah.
Man, they were going to be a big thing, and Attack Attack as well, the Welsh Attack Attack, not
Yeah.
the metal one.
Well, actually, Cole's Landing. No, Goodbye for Now's last ever gig was with. Cole's on his last. No, Goodbye for Now's last ever gig after you'd left the band was in Cockpit One with the American Attack Attack.
No, oh shit, yeah, it was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was. And then because you'd done Silverstein as well, you'd supported them.
Yeah,
you've done loads. I
Silverstein.
think instantly, like when sometimes like we kind of underestimate, like it all just merges into one. But I think that's awesome, man. You've done some proper cool stuff, and obviously, just to reiterate the question, you have obviously got ambition to play other venues and stuff and play with other artists and whatnot. But you've already ticked off quite a few.
But like I said, I'm at that point in my life where the music will just go where it goes, and then if I view it like that, where if it does crop up something cool, it's like a surprise, and it's like a gift, innit?
Yeah, man. I love that. That's well good. All right, so I'm gonna have to rattle through a few more questions.
Sorry.
I really want to get another song.
I chat on.
No, I absolutely love it, mate. And the thing, I think I knew this was going to be a bit of an issue because obviously we've got a lot to talk about. But I am also running over every single night, so I really need to learn to stick to my times.
It's good, man. It's good.
So there was another question. Where is it? It was. I'm sure I can't remember who asked it, but I'm pretty certain it was. What advice would you give to an aspiring musician? I'm sure that's what it was. Where is that? But yeah, if you would like to, don't do it.
No, I don't know. It depends. It depends how old you are. Like to that question. Like for me, I think. If you're talking about how to grow your band in this economy, and like sort of in the state of the world now and with music, I think like there is no right answer because everything is so readily available. And one of the most difficult things that we struggle with in beauty school is like the idea of having enough time and financial resources to keep your band going in terms of like socials and things like doing this, because whilst this is cool to catch up, it also promotes my band, it promotes your YouTube. Everybody's sort of in this like mashing pot of like promotion and keeping your stuff going. So if you're young and you have time, then you've just got to keep that stuff going as much as you can. The socials and the interacting with the people that enjoy your music, interacting with the people that come to your shows. Play as many shows as you can, write as much music as you can. But it's a time thing, innit? That's what it is essentially.
Absolutely. I think we were touching on that when we were doing soundcheck earlier on, how much things have massively changed. Like from when we were in a band together, it was before the internet properly was a thing. It was more. I know, it was like more literally just like invite your mates to a gig, and then they would invite their mates, and before you know it, you had 300 people at your show, and like we could quite easily do those shows every weekend all day long kind of thing. It was just mental. But
it's crazy, isn't it?
But we had the crossover because I remember like we were still out flyering for the Fight Star show in central Leeds, plugging our band, making sure everyone knew that we were supporting Fight Star, whilst at the same time plugging our MySpace page, which was a thing. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. It's that old now. But we were like proper pushing that, weren't we? And I remember like the crossover of between like physical CDs and digital downloads, and like I say, physically printing out a flyer. And at the time I was a printer as well, so it always helped massively. Working for a printing firm, I'd be out like. But we
had boxes and boxes of flyers and stuff. Like we never had to worry about that shit.
But I think like obviously like I think touching on what you were saying there, it's move with the times and do what's readily available to you. There's so much free advertising, as much as obviously Facebook and Instagram and the algorithm and that kind of rinses you. If you're not consistently posting out on using the platform at its full potential without actually paying into it, then why, you know, you need to ask yourself that question. And then once you start to build up a bit of a rapport for consistently posting out, then that's maybe when you want to start consider investing a little amount of money in, maybe 10 or 15 quid on a more important post, that kind of thing. And that should hopefully propel the content out to a larger audience at the same time.
Yeah, and just you've got to have your songs on the music platforms. You've got to get it on Spotify and get it on Apple Music and things like that, because that's just where it's consumed now. That's the thing. But yeah, it's just it's bittersweet, really. I mean, it's probably cool for the people that are just growing into it now, but it's bittersweet for us, certainly, like, to kind of, you look back and think of how cool it was when you could just stick flyers in people's planners at school and say, "Oh, you come into the Roundabout Friday show in the lunch hall." You know what I mean? Like, and you'd play to fucking like 100, 200 people at or Cardigan Arms, like that was 100 cap venue, and we used to wall that, didn't we, back to back. And now working for Slam Dunk, I see bands coming over from the US all the time. These big bands that are on like the forefront of certain music genres, and they'll play to 150 kids. Like, that wasn't what it was like for us growing up. It was like 700 kids a time. Yeah,
it was insane. We'll move on to another question. I think there's bollocks! I lost it. So, have you guys thought about doing? I don't know if this is aimed at me or if this is aimed at you. Have you thought about doing a charity online stream? So maybe if you'd like to elaborate, if you guys as a band are planning on doing some more streaming, and creating a bit of a platform for yourself in this time.
Well, it's difficult. Now. Like it's hard to stream, isn't it? It's hard to play music live when there's more than one component involved and you're not in the same place because of latency and things like that. So, I mean, we did talk about doing maybe like a live podcast or something, and maybe that's something we'll look into. But charity, I mean, we did put our shirts on, like our merch on sale at 50%. Like 50% of the money went to like food banks and stuff early on in the crisis. So, you know, we've done a little bit, but you know, and then obviously me personally, I did the YouTube thing where I streamed playing games, and that's much easier to do than doing the music thing. The thing is, it's like we're a bunch of 30-year-old guys in the band, and is anybody going to tune in and listen to us chatter on for a while?
You'll be surprised, mate. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. I think that's a prime example of kind of going back to the previous question about like how do you make it and how do you like push to in this industry. I think you've just got to dare to do it, regardless of numbers. You've just got to do it. You've just got to try and see what happens. Throw it. If it sticks, adapt.
Absolutely.
If that question was aimed at me at all, I'd like to just quickly elaborate. Basically, what I'm thinking about doing is potentially holding an Assembly Point festival and running, and not necessarily doing it for a charity, and I don't want to necessarily monetize it either. But what I've realised is there are so many artists out there that are, you know, that are out of work or not necessarily performing and not really being able to network and do the things. So what I'm thinking about is doing it is like maybe a full day festival type live stream. Maybe at that point it'll be loose enough where some people will be able to come here in the studio, and we'll just do like maybe every other will be one act here, clean it up, get everything like safe, ready for the next act, whilst another act is streaming, and then 100% of the money made from that would be split up between all of the acts that played throughout the day. So it's not necessarily a charity event, but it would be more to help prop up musicians that are are still wanting to pursue music and stuff, because I think it's tough at the best of times, never mind during an apocalypse. So it's one of them, innit? Like that's something I'm considering to do anyways. It's nothing set in stone.
It'd be cool.
There was another question. I think it was a bit of a jokey question, but I will ask it. Where is it? I think it was. I'm losing all these questions. I'm pretty certain it was something. Have you ever met anyone more talented than Dan? Is that right?
Have I ever met anyone more talented? I'd love to know who.
It was Don that said that.
Oh, Don. Yeah, I have actually, and it's probably Don, the guy who asked the question.
And it's funny because Dan said he probably won't admit it on here though.
I mean, Don,
and you have admitted it.
Yeah, I have admitted it. Like that, you know, whilst Dan's an excellent musician, Don is this guy called Don, right? He's one of these weird characters that he can never remember his lyrics because we try to be in a band together. Never remember his lyrics when he's practicing. I don't think he likes playing shows. He hates having the attention on him. But he's
sounds like
just the most unbelievable songwriter you've ever heard. Like he'll walk into practice and he's just this sort of half quiet dude, and then he'll pick up a guitar and you'll just listen to him fucking play a song, and you'll be like, who did you pay to write that? Yeah.
Oh dear.
So yeah, Don, you are probably way more talented than
So
Shaw.
So he was obviously fishing then, right?
I think he was fishing. He was definitely fishing.
That's all right. I mean, yeah, maybe he should come on the show.
Yeah, he should, man. You should fucking get him on. Definitely.
Yeah, if he's up for coming on, just drop me an email or drop me an Instagram and we'll sort it out. Right, okay. Was there one more question in there? I think there was. Oh, yeah, it was asking. It was Kieran asking if you'd play some Calls Landing, but I'm not sure if you've got anything planned or what.
Yeah, I've not got anything. I've not got anything lined up, unfortunately, because we've only got time for one more, haven't we? And I want to play this. I want to play this other Beauty School song.
Well,
but,
I think let's hear another Beauty School song. But I think this is, if nothing else, at the very least, that is someone instigating you need to do a stream where you just play as many Calls songs and as
well,
many
I'll tell you what, if you're still doing this in a few in like 5 weeks and you run out of guests, then get me back on and I'll do a Calls Landing one.
Let's get it booked in, man, because I'm doing this for the foreseeable future, man. So I'm definitely I'm starting to book up to 100 episodes at the moment. So
all right, cool. I'm sure. Yeah, you can squeeze me in somewhere.
I'm sure. Well, definitely. I haven't quite got that there yet. So yeah, there's plenty of space. But yeah, I'd love that. Let's do that. That sounds like a plan. So in that case, then, Kieran, you should consider subscribing to the channel because Joe will be back to play some Calls Landing.
Yeah, you should. Also, whilst I'm here, sorry to do a cheeky plug.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
If anybody enjoys video games and wants to see me yammering on about them, then you should also subscribe to the VGT channel, which is YouTube. Yeah, look at that, Matt. You saw me out there, son.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah,
VGT.
This is what I've been keeping myself occupied with in the spare time, and obviously that's kind of, in a way, it's kind of how me and Matt not reconnected because we would chat every now and then. But Matt's obviously been doing this YouTube for a while and saw that I'd started my own YouTube, and we had a few chats about it, and so everybody who's not subscribed to Matt, subscribe to this because it is just unbelievable content. And, if anybody wants to jump over to VGT and subscribe to that as well.
I would recommend it because I'm not even a gamer. Honestly, I mean, you witnessed earlier on, I called it, I nearly said it a joystick then. I called what are they called? Pad?
Controller, right?
Oh, control, yeah. I called it a remote earlier on and then I've just called it a freaking joystick. I know nothing about gaming, but it's thoroughly entertaining. Like, honestly, I've watched every single episode you've put out so far, and even the ones where you're like talking meticulously about games, and you're not necessarily like rinsing the game. You're actually just talking about gameplay and almost like reviewing it. It's so entertaining to watch. It's really good, man. So keep up the good work, and
thanks, dude.
And for those of you that even surely there's people out there that are in the comments right now that are more into gaming than I am. That I know that I'd love it. So please head over to the channel. It's on the screen now, and give him a subscribe. And Yeah. Anyway,
Who's this William Bielek? William Bielek. I'm the biggest Beauty School fan in the Grand Rapids. Where's
No
the Grand
idea.
Rapids? Is that down Armley? I'm joking.
Oh dear. Right, mate. We have run over, but I want to hear this
Yeah,
next
sorry,
song from you.
let's do
No,
it.
it's not your fault. It's me. I've loads of fun talking to you. So let's jump into this.
Cool. All right. So this song's called Monster. Call me at midday. I'm still waking up. And the creases on my face. I'm coming unstuck. It doesn't make much sense to move if I can spend my time with you. I got a hole in my pocket, the one where my spare change rattles around with my youth. It rattles around with my youth. It doesn't make much sense to move if I can't live my life with you. And I can't know it's sad but true. I'll still be ever dependent on you. I'm studying like a bubble stuck here waiting to burst. If I'm frozen in one spot then my legs start to hurt. I have weeks where I can function and my mind seems to work. But if I stop for too long I'll probably blow again. And when did I become a monster lurking in the dark? Oh, but I'm getting by. When did I become a monster lurking in the dark? Oh, but I'm getting by. I'm starting like a bubble stuck here waiting to burst. If I'm frozen in one spot then my legs start to hurt. Of weeks where I can function and my mind seems to work. But if I stop for too long I'll probably blow again. And when did I become a monster lurking in the dark? Oh, but I'm getting by. When did I become a monster lurking in the dark? Oh, but I'm getting by. So long for the world to carry on.
Yeah. Was that a little nod to?
Little GFN section
Yeah.
in there for you, son.
I was like, I'm sure that's a GFN song, but I didn't want to say if you call in lyrics from the old days and bringing them over to Beauty School.
Yeah, I fucking do that all the time.
Yeah.
We've got back now stuff though, because it's all dross. I'm joking.
Honestly, man, thank you so much. You've smashed it tonight. I've had such a good time. You've
Yeah,
played
man.
amazingly, and
Same.
like catching up with you has been ace. And everyone in the comments has loved you. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's gone tonight, man. So thank you.
No, man, thank you. Let's do this again. Maybe without everyone watching, we should catch up at some point.
Oh, I don't know if
maybe...
we can do that. That's not how I roll these days. Everything has to be on live. No, definitely, mate. Let's catch up, and maybe we can. Maybe I can throw some songs your way that you can help me finish, because I'm stuck at the moment, man. I'd love your input.
Anytime, brother.
Nice one. Any final words? Anything you'd like to sort of say, or?
No, I think I'm good. Just, check out Beauty School, check out VGT, just do all that stuff. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, Beauty School's on screen now, Facebook and Instagram, and I've put the YouTube link on there as well. Check that out.
Matt.
But yeah, mate, smashed it. All right, dude, I'm gonna go. I'll catch up with you really soon.
Bye. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, Matt.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It's ace. Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it tonight. It's been awesome catching up with my mate, and it was extremely nostalgic, and he had some very wise words about how to pursue music and stuff. So hopefully that's giving you some insight into how to do it. And obviously, I think there's a lot to be said. It's hard graft, and he's living it, he's doing it, and good on him. And definitely check out his YouTube channel. And once again, thank you so much. I do this every single night at 7:00 till 8-ish. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. If you have already subscribed, thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.